Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome for the first time. It's been quite a while since I've sat down and done one of these more in-depth videos for you guys, and today I want to talk to you about a very easy travel idea for a long weekend in Turkey. So I actually went to Istanbul way back in 2014 after I graduated college and took like a month-long road trip across Europe. And honestly, when I was visiting this city, it was the first international city I'd been to, and I was quite intimidated by being there, and I never really had a desire to go back. But some of my friends had the idea to go skiing this winter, and Turkey actually has some really nice ski hills that are really inexpensive. So a group of us went to Istanbul and rented a car and drove up to Bursa, which is about 2.5 hours from Istanbul. And from there we took this really long, windy road up to Uludağ, which I'm hopefully pronouncing that right, is the name of the ski resort in that area. So we all stayed in a lodge. It was about 10 minutes down the hill from the ski slope, just off to the side of the main road. In a really cute little area, actually a lot of locals around there, and also where one of the gondola lifts comes up from Bursa, the main city. So it was a great location for us. A little bit of a challenge to get to, but other than that, it was good. Driving up to Uludağ at night was actually kind of scary because I don't know why this happens, but for some reason there tends to be a lot of fog on the hill, and I think it may have just been because it was kind of getting warmer during the time we visited. So it was very, very foggy, and it's very hard at night to maintain your spacing on the road because there aren't any center lines or really anything other than the turn signs on the edge of the road that kind of tell you where you're going. So you kind of have to just follow the snowbank up the hill, which can get kind of scary because there are a lot of twists and turns on that road. So definitely don't recommend driving up there at night. But during the day it's fine. And also there is also the cable car that comes directly from Bursa. So I think if we were to stay there again, we probably would end up staying in Bursa itself and then just taking the cable car up the hill, because within 20 minutes you can get up, and it actually I think takes longer to drive there. So definitely recommend, if you're going to go there, probably taking the little gondola up the hill and probably staying in Bursa because there's a lot more restaurants and things to do at night there. And it's also probably cheaper than staying on the hill. Skiing at the resort itself is really inexpensive, at least compared to what I've experienced in the United States. A ticket for lifts for the day will cost you around $20 US, and and then rental skis will cost you around $12 US, which for me is really, really cheap because in the US it easily gets over $100 just between rentals and lift tickets for one day. So definitely good there. There are also a lot of lifts available. Some of them are a little bit older, and they also have these like T lifts, which I had never seen before, but apparently those are a thing. Which are a little bit more difficult to use, but altogether there are probably over 20 different lifts and lots of different ski hills to check out while you're there. On the ski hill itself, there are also plenty of little restaurants and places to stop along the way if you want to take a break. And they also do serve alcohol there, so I would definitely recommend the mulled wine if you are into that kind of thing. Similar to the way the hill was driving up at night, the first day we were there, the ski slopes were incredibly foggy, and because they're actually not very well marked in terms of each trail doesn't really have its own name. Like I'm used to seeing like a sign with like go this way for this trail. That doesn't really exist there. It's kind of just like you follow the areas that people are skiing on, and a lot of people know where they're going. So that's, I think, the way it more works there. But because it was so foggy and we had never been on this mountain before, the first day was a little bit challenging in trying to find our way around. But the second day we had fresh snow, it cleared up quite a bit, and it was really, really nice. So just something to be aware of, that it can get foggy and it's a little bit difficult to find your way if you're new to the mountain. The food in Uludağ is also fairly inexpensive. Even though it is a resort area, it's still not too expensive to eat at the different restaurants, and the place we were staying, the small little town, had one restaurant opened I think at night, especially during the winter. They don't have too many outside tourists, but this cute little restaurant was really a great find and gave us a bit of a taste of kind of the more local atmosphere, which was really nice. So on our third day in Uludağ, we decided not to go skiing that day because we had to be in Istanbul that night. So instead we took the gondola down to Bursa and kind of explored that area. There's a really, really nice local bazaar and lots of nice mosques and historical places that you can visit in the city itself, and it has a much more authentic feel than I was expecting. There's a lot less tourists there, I think. And like I said, next time if I were to go skiing here again, I would probably end up staying in Bursa just because I don't have my own skis and have to rent them anyway, and then just taking the gondola up daily to go to the ski hill. After visiting Bursa, we headed back up the gondola to our car, where we then drove to Istanbul. Again, it was about a 3-hour drive, which took a little bit of time, especially once we got to Istanbul with the traffic. But other than that, pretty smooth drive. I wouldn't recommend driving in the Istanbul Old City itself, where we were staying. The roads were really small and hard to get around, especially if you have a larger car. It would be really, really challenging. That being said, it is possible to do, so if you are renting a car and want to be able to drive yourself to the airport, it is doable. In Istanbul, we stayed in the Old City at Obahan Hotel, which I will link below because I actually really liked this hotel. And it's located about a 5 to 10 minute walk from the Blue Mosque, and then also just an easy 5-minute walk to a bunch of little restaurants. I would have loved to stay here for a couple of days because I think the location is really great and it's very, very inexpensive. For a 2-bedroom, it's only $50 per night, and it's really, like I said, right in the middle of everything. So I recommend that hotel if you are looking for something in that area. It's brand new, great breakfast, definitely recommend. But yeah, Istanbul itself had a totally different feel this time, and I was much less intimidated as I knew more where I was looking to go. Especially being with a group of people and walking around, just being used to more international travel, honestly, it was much better than I expected. I actually have no idea where I was even in 2014, but this time I kind of knew more about the area and where I wanted to visit, and it was less intimidating. We only had one day in Istanbul. Our flight was later that evening, but we decided to do the hop-on, hop-off bus, which I think is called Big Bus in Istanbul. This is a really great way to see the main highlights of the city if you're on a time crunch like we were, and I think it's around 45 euros per day, and you can get off at the different stops if you want to. We ended up just doing the red loop all the way through because we didn't have much time, and then we got off at the spice market area and walked around there for quite a while, grabbed some lunch and made some purchases. You can get some really great deals at this bazaar compared to Qatar, and they actually have some very similar things to Qatar there that you can get for much cheaper. Or either that or I'm really bad at bartering, and in Qatar they're harder to barter with, I don't know, but I ended up getting a really nice little lamp and some Turkish sweets and tea and all that kind of thing. We spent 4 days in Turkey, leaving on Tuesday afternoon. We spent Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday there. We flew out on Saturday night, and I think that was the perfect amount of time if you want just a quick break and you don't feel super rushed being there. It's definitely some place that you could spend at least a week in Istanbul, especially just walking around, seeing all of the different sites. But it's a great option if you're looking for a quick travel break and you might be short on vacation time. Flights there are fairly inexpensive, and there are a few different airlines that run daily direct flights to Istanbul. It's about a 4.5-hour flight there and then a 4-hour flight back. So not too bad, and very economical place to go, especially coming from Qatar. A lot of things there are quite a bit less expensive. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed my visit to Turkey and was glad to be able to see a lot more of the country than I had back when I was traveling after college. And it gave me a lot better appreciation for the place. And now, instead of being intimidated by Turkey, I really do like Turkey. So I definitely recommend, if you're looking for a short break from the Middle East, consider traveling to Turkey, especially in the winter, so you can go skiing. Hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, definitely be sure to leave me a like below or a comment letting me know what you think. And if you're interested in seeing more videos like this one or about life in Qatar in general, definitely subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.